Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. You're hearing from me first because Sam is not here. We can go to him first, live from Mackinac. There he is.
Hey, how's it going today? Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody had a great week.
God.
To my right, saying, oh, God, is the one, the only, Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And on the ones and twos, shooting his own goo or coated in his own goo?
Whatever you want.
Fucking
Whatever
useless
you
as always.
Useless.
And behind the ones and twos, useless as always, we have Bruce, the tugboat Venditti.
Howdy.
And I'm Zolo. You know that already. I'm going to be doing a little hosting duties today just because it's easier with Sam abroad. But Sam's here. It's the same show, so don't fret. Sam, you want to start with last night?
Yeah, we did have quite the affair last night on Thursday Night Football. Couple quick thoughts. One, the Patriots are absolute petrified, gray, dried up, left in the yard in the beating summer sun dog shit. Honestly, you know, the blind squirrel finds his nut, and that was the Patriots' Week 1 win against the Bengals. I think the Bengals were just that bad that day because realistically, I was trying to pull a redeeming quality out of the Patriots for last night, and I couldn't. Their offense is atrocious. Probably, now that we're going to get an infusion of Andy Dalton, probably worse than...
Hold on. You're too quiet, apparently. Bruce, can we turn Sam up? Can we get the volume?
He's all the way up.
Oh, he's all the way up. Okay, it's
There
better.
we go.
They're
I'm
saying
all
it's
the way
better
up.
now. They're saying it's better now. Sorry about that, guys.
Patriots-wise, their offense is in complete shambles. It's the worst that I've seen this year, and that is taking into account the Panthers. And Aaron Rodgers looked clean. He looked crisp. He looked good. They got the tight end involved. Conklin looked nice. Nice win for the Jets, but if you're a Patriots fan right now or you're that organization, you've got a lot of work to do going forward.
Uncle Sam, are the Patriots reverting back to the mean that we thought they were going to be, or do you have any observations?
I don't think so. I think they got outplayed, outcoached, and outplayed. You know.
Outcoached and outplayed. Yeah, I mean, I know the talk of the day was Aaron Rodgers today because people think that, oh, he's back and all that. He did look good, and he was carving them up like turkey on Thanksgiving
He
yesterday.
looked real good. He was moving around real good.
Yeah.
He was making good decisions with the football.
Yeah.
And when he does that, he's outstanding.
It was the definition of one of those we're going to take what the defense gives us type games. And clearly their game plan was to take away Garrett Wilson. Well, it worked out for Mike Williams, and it worked out for and Garrett Wilson. He caught a touchdown pass, but it worked out for Mike Williams, and it worked out for Alan Lazard, and then Conklin as well. And then what's the nickname for Braylon Allen and Breece Hall? They have a nickname now. The BB boy, I don't remember. They have a nickname, but they both look good. I'll say this much. I want to see the Jets do what they did last night against a good team. That's when I will. What?
Thank you.
Because I want to take like Aaron Rodgers looked the part last night, okay? But it's a different league from when he last played. And I want to see a game where they have to play from behind. You know, I want to see them go against the Bills when Josh Allen has a touchdown lead. And, of course, I trust Aaron Rodgers to get the job done, but it's going to change the way the play calling is. Go ahead. What are you doing?
I agree with you, but at the same time, that defense was all over Rodgers that entire game. So you can't discredit that fact.
And it's a good defense. But going up against a good offense and a good defense changes the way the game goes. You know, the Jets were able to control the tempo of the game yesterday. You can't always hand the ball off if you're behind. So what are they going to look like when they're playing from behind like they were against San Francisco? They were bad against San Francisco.
Yeah, but their defense showed up yesterday.
That's
the difference.
It looked
their
good.
Defense showed up yesterday where they didn't show up week 1.
But it's also a different team. We're comparing apples and oranges, I think, when we're comparing the Niners.
Apples, oranges, grapefruits, fucking pickles.
Shout out to Randazzo's Fruit Market.
Anyway.
Real quick, yeah. Exactly what Zolo said. I want to see them do it against a good team because the defense for the Jets last night looked lights out. Granted, they're going up against the bottom 2 or 3 offense in the league. So I'm not putting a ton of stock into that. But I'm going to be honest. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers looked good last night. But that game did not change the tide for me at all as far as the Jets offense goes. I still think they have problems. They have offensive line issues, first and foremost. They can run the ball. But, yeah, Rodgers was under duress. And I don't want to hear anything about how good the Patriots defense is because it's not. At the end of the day, they didn't show me much last night. They were very predictable. They left wide open holes for him. At the end, I think Rodgers looked good, but I'm not sold on the Jets offense right now. I think if they face a team that can stop the run, they might have issues moving the ball.
Hey, the Patriots ran the ball down fucking Cincinnati's throat. Where was that yesterday?
It was gone, but
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
That's how good the Jets defense is.
Yeah, but I just said it that I was very impressed with the Jets defense.
Right.
I don't think the Jets defense is a problem. I think the Jets offense is a problem. Like I don't think that I need to see it against a good team. And I think Buffalo is a great test, but I don't see them right now. I'm still kind of weak on the Jets. I don't think that offense looked good enough, and I think they do have
look better than Miami
with no quarterback. Sure, I'll give that one to you.
Anyway,
I think you guys are both right. I want to see more from the Jets. I want to see them do it against a good team, but there's certainly a lot to like from last night. There's a lot to like about the Jets defense. Obviously, there's a lot to like about Aaron Rodgers, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes.
Quick question. Does Drake May get the start going forward?
No. I think that was a product of the Jets defense yesterday. Brissett's been more than good enough at managing the games for them. Maybe they need a little bit more out of them if they want to win more games, but I don't think he's there to win games. I think he's there to nurture. And personally, I just think that the Patriots – I'm done talking about this game. We're wasting our time. I think the Patriots are reverting back to the mean. We had them towards the bottom. They're going to finish towards the bottom. Don't be worried that they got to win and they had a competitive start against Seattle. They're going to go back towards the bottom because they just don't have talent. They don't have enough talent. So it's going to take time. That's it. Can we move on? I'm sick of talking about this already.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Do we want to get into the slate of games? Do we want to have fun and pick?
Without question. That's what we're here for. It's Friday afternoon. That's what we're here for, baby.
Let's do it. Starting in Cleveland, Ohio, we have a showdown between a dumpster fire and a recycling bin fire, with the Cleveland Browns set to host the New York Giants. The Browns are favored by 6.5 points. The over-under is 38.5. Damn, is that low? Uncle Sam, what are you thinking here?
Defense. I'm going to take Cleveland in the under.
Sam?
This one's pretty easy for me. This starts off a slate of games going into week 3 that I think is actually pretty shitty. The 38.5 points, it's low, but I think I would still hit the under in this game. And I'm taking Cleveland giving up a touchdown. Cleveland's defense is going to be a problem for the Giants all the way around. I don't see very many points. That game's probably going to look a lot like last night did, in my opinion. And the only safe way to go here is Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cleveland to win, Cleveland to cover. I just think things are bad with New York. And maybe, just maybe, this is the game that Deshaun Watson rebounds a little bit. Over 200.5 pass yards and Amari Cooper gets back on track. Amari Cooper anytime.
You took the Deshaun Watson prop literally out of my mouth. I think that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can have it if you want me to pick. I can pick another one if you'd like.
No. I'm good with that because there's one that I like better. Did you say Amari Cooper anytime?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I'm going to piggyback off your Amari Cooper thing because I think that this is his coming out party. I think he'll hit that over 51.5. And then as far as rushing props go, I actually like Donta Foreman as my anytime touchdown scorer this week for the Browns. One that I thought was kind of interesting, to be honest, was Malik Neighbors at 67.5, but I don't feel safe there. Like,
that's a lot of yards against that defense.
It's a lot of yards. If he continues the target share, then yeah, I think 67 is a little bit low, but I really think that you're going to see the Giants look absolutely awful against this Browns defense.
Bruce, do you have any picks?
I'll go with Cleveland in the under.
Uncle Sam, you got any props?
Daniel Jones, anytime touchdown.
Well. Passing or rushing?
Rushing.
Well. Moving on. There's a theme with games this week, including last night, but there's a major theme with games this week. I think there's a lot of prove-it games on the slate. I think there's a ton of games where teams either really need a win or teams that have a few wins are going up against a good team or whatever. There's a lot of prove-it games. This is the first of the many prove-it games. We have the Indianapolis Colts hosting the Chicago Bears. The Colts are favored by 1.5 points. Colts minus 1.5. The over-under is 43.5. Obviously, the Bears have their win that they lucked into week 1. They had a bad game last week, if you want to call it that. I think their defense played well. And the Colts are surprising 0-2 because I know I was high on the Colts. I think you were high on the Colts, right, Uncle Sam?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sam, I know you weren't as high on the Colts as I was, but this is a big game in my opinion. I think it's Indy's first home game. Was Houston at Indy week 1? Yeah, maybe the Houston. No, so it's their second home game. Regardless, I think this is a big game. I think Caleb Williams needs to have a big game. I think that Anthony Richardson needs to have a big game. What do you guys think? Colts minus 1.5. Who you taking?
Taking the Bears. Bears in the over.
Oh!
Sam?
I'm going to go the Colts giving up the 1.5, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to take the Colts giving up the 1.5. I'm taking the over in this. I think you're going to see a lot of points scored. I don't love either defense going into this game. Prop-wise, Anthony Richardson over a half a passing touchdown. I think it's a no-brainer here. I think he gets that no problem. And then I'm also taking Anthony Richardson anytime on the ground. So I think he's going to throw 2, score 1 on the ground, and you'll have a really, really nice day there going with the Colts. Chicago for me right now, still not sold. I'm still not there. And the Colts, like we talk a lot on here about how you said prove it game, about when a team needs a win. The Colts need to get this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been high on the Colts, like I mentioned. There's no better time than now. This is a huge game, in my opinion, because and just because I'm picking the Colts doesn't mean I'm low on the Bears, because I do think the Bears are still pretty good, and I think they should rebound at some point, and Caleb Williams should come into his own at some point. I don't think it's going to be in this game. I think the Colts come out and dominate the tempo early and score points, and that's how you beat these rookie quarterbacks, is you make them play from behind. So I like the Colts. I do like the over in this one. My prop is going to be DJ Moore anytime. I think DJ Moore catches a touchdown pass against this Colts secondary, and this does turn into a little bit better of a game for Caleb Williams against a banged-up Colts defense. I'm also going to go with Jonathan Taylor anytime. I think Jonathan Taylor ends up on the board, and it should just be an all-around good day for the Colts offense. Josh Downs is coming back. I just think the Colts need this more, and it's hard to survive the 0-3 hole if they don't win. So give me the Colts at home. Bruce?
I'm going to take the Colts in the under.
Moving on, let's head over to, where is this game? Oh, it's in Minneapolis. The Vikings, the 2-0 Vikings are hosting the 2-0 Houston Texans. This is another one of those prove-it games. I think this one is huge. We will find out how good the Vikings are at this point, because this isn't the Giants, but they beat the 49ers. So Uncle Sam, do you think they can keep the magic going?
I'm taking the Vikings in the over.
Oh, did I mention the Vikings are getting 1.5?
Yep.
Vikings are getting 1.5.
I'm taking Vikings in the over.
Over under is 45.5.
Correct.
Quick question.
Sorry?
Yeah, what's your question?
Did the dentist must have given you more pills if you think Minnesota's winning this game? Just throwing that out there.
The dentist needs to give you more pills if you think Minnesota's winning this game.
Anyway, I'm taking the Vikings, and my anytime touchdown for this week is going to be Aaron Jones. Anytime touchdown.
Sam, Joe Mixon isn't playing, by the way, so it should be the Cam Akers show. I don't know if there's any other injuries. Justin Jefferson is off the injury report.
He's playing.
He's expected to play. I don't think there's any other major. Dallas Turner for Minnesota is not playing. If you factor that in, I don't know what he's done through a couple weeks so far, but what do you guys think?
Doesn't bother me at all that Mixon's not playing. This Texans team's not going to rely on the run against Minnesota anyways. They're going to air it out. Stephon Diggs going back home. Talked about it a little bit today. Give me Houston -1.5. And the 45.5, I'm going to take the over in that. I think real quickly here, and I know this is going to be hard for Uncle Sam to hear, but Sam Darnold's going to go right back to where he was. I think Minnesota's better than we thought, but I don't think this team's that much of a threat still at this point. I think Houston makes pretty easy work of them. As far as props go, right now it's really hard to bet against Nico Collins. I believe he's wide receiver 1 as far as fantasy goes still. I'm going to take him over the 75.5 yards, and I'm going to take Stephon Diggs anytime.
I was gonna say Nico Collins over 75.5. I think that's a lock. The Niners defense is good. Their secondary, I don't know if it can keep up when Stroud is able to survive the pressure. So I love that Nico Collins over 75.5. I also it's hard to bet against Justin Jefferson. He's gonna draw Stingley. So it's going to be tough. So I'll do Justin Jefferson on his receptions. And his player receptions are 5.5. I'm going to go over 5.5 on Justin Jefferson's receptions. I'm going to go over 2.5 on Dalton Schultz receptions. Those are my props. And I'm with you, Sam. I'm going to go with the Texans on the road. I think they're a little bit better than the Niners were last week. So I'm going to go with the Texans on the road, and give me the under in this one. Give me the under. I think this is a little bit more low scoring than we think. Bruce?
I'm going to go with Houston in the under as well.
One thing that I think is almost a guarantee in this game is if we see that same front of Houston's defense that we saw against Chicago, and I know Minnesota's a better team than Chicago is right now, but if we get that same front, Sam Darnold's going to be in fits all day long. And I think that's what you're going to see.
Moving on, another prove it game. I mean, this is the 4th game we've done. I think this is another prove it game. I think this is another game that matters, and I think this is another game that stands out on the schedule, and one that I'm curious to watch. The Eagles are going to New Orleans to take on the 2-0 Saints. The Eagles coming off of that blunder on Monday Night Football. The Saints are favored by 2.5, over under 49.5. Should be a lot of offense in this one. This is tricky. For player props, I think that no A.J. Brown still. Everyone is still healthy for the Saints. I think that this game actually goes under, believe it or not. And I think that we're going to learn a lot more about the Eagles, I think, than the Saints, because the Eagles, when they started to lose last year, they started to lose. It started to tumble. So they're coming off a loss. They're coming off a bad loss. I think they need this game more. I think they need this game more than the Saints. So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win. I'm going to take the Eagles with the points. I'm going to take the Eagles to cover. I like the under. I'm going to go with Devontae Smith anytime as my player prop. I think Devontae Smith shows out. And I also like Saquon, but as a receiver. So I'm going to go Saquon at his receiving props are for receptions 3.5. I think they let Saquon cook out of the backfield. That's how you keep those that defensive line for New Orleans guessing. Uncle Sam, what do you think?
I'm taking New Orleans in the over, and I'm taking Chris Olave anytime touchdown.
He's due.
Yep.
He's due.
Okay. I'm gonna go this is a brain versus heart issue here right now because I think everybody kind of loves what the Saints are doing, but I'm gonna roll with them. I'm gonna take them -2.5. I'm gonna take the over in this game as well. Philadelphia scares me right now. I don't think it's there. I don't think they can keep up in a track meet with New Orleans right now without A.J. Brown. And the New Orleans defensive front has shown that they can pretty much stop anybody. I don't think Barkley's going to have a bad game, but I don't think he's going to be able to run around at will. So give me New Orleans. Give me the over because they pretty much hit every over by themselves through the first 2 weeks. My two props are Alvin Kamara for 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, 2 touchdowns. And Rashid Shaheed over 49.5 points because more likely than not, if he catches 2 balls, he's going to go over that.
Bruce?
Oh, it's me. I'm going to go with New Orleans.
Ooh, I'm the only one on the Eagles?
Let's go with you know what? I'll go with the under with you, but I'm taking New Orleans.
Moving on. I'm excited to watch that one, by the way. Moving on. Another prove it game. So we're 6 for 6. We have the undefeated Los Angeles Chargers headed to Pittsburgh to take on the undefeated Steelers at, what are they calling it now? Acrisure Stadium. The Steelers are favored by 3 points, over under a whopping 34.5. Uncle Sam, what are you thinking?
I'm going to take the under, and I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Got any player props you like?
Pickens anytime touchdown.
Sam?
Again, this is another brain versus heart battle, but I'm going to go with the Chargers to win outright. I'm going to go with the under in this game. And as far as prop bets go, I really think that you're going to see this might be the end of the Justin Fields thing as much as we've all loved it. I'm going to go under 160.5 yards. I know that's low, but through the first 3 games, I don't think he's gotten there. Jacoby Brissett, I thought last night, maybe he's going to go over the 165. He still wasn't able to. Hasn't thrown for more than 150 yards on the year. And I'm going to go Fields under a half a passing touchdown. I don't think he throws for one, and I don't think he throws for more than 150 yards. And I'm going to play the Justin Fields debacle game here, and the Chargers go 3-0.
All of the Herbert props are off the board because his ankle is taped all the way up for whatever reason. Uncle Sam, I love the George Pickens anytime. I think he's at some point it has to happen. At some point he's due. I'm actually going to pick the Steelers here because I've had bad luck picking against them. I just don't. As much as I love the Harbaugh thing through 2 weeks, I don't think they have the talent offensively to break what the Steelers do defensively. And Jim Harbaugh historically has had bad luck in Pittsburgh, believe it or not. So I'm going to take the Steelers to win. I'm going to take the Steelers to cover, actually, the 3 points. Give me, the over-under is disgusting. I'm going to go under 34.5. I think this could be some sort of like 20-10 game maybe. Maybe if Chargers fans luck out at 20-17. Give me Justin Herbert under his passing yards whenever that shows up. I think it's gonna be somewhere in like the 180 to 190 range. Give me him under his passing yards and give me an anytime touchdown for Najee Harris. I think Najee Harris has a good game in this one because that's how you got to beat the Chargers. You got to do it on the ground. This is the most effective ground game that the Chargers have played thus far, and I think they're going to show out because of it. Bruce, do you have anything to add?
Chargers. And the under.
Ooh, so we're split here.
Yeah.
Moving on, I don't think this one's a prove-it game, finally. The 0-2 Denver Broncos, who really need a win, are going to Tampa to take on the red-hot Buccaneers, trying to hold pace in that wild, wild NFC South. Tampa's favored by 6.5. The over-under is 40.5. Uncle Sam, what are you thinking?
I'm taking Tampa in the over. Rashad White, anytime touchdown.
Sam?
Give me Tampa and the under. Tampa giving up a touchdown and the under. Prop-wise, I'm going to take a Chris Godwin anytime. I'm going to take the Mike Evans over 64.5 yards. And I'm going to take Baker Mayfield over.
Oh, no.
Baker Mayfield over 236.5 passing yards. I think Tampa rolls in this game. I think Tampa continues to roll.
Yeah, Tampa to win reluctantly because I think that's a lot of points. I'm going to go Tampa to cover. I'm going to stick with the under and then give me Javonte Williams anytime. I do think he gets on the board this week just because he's got nowhere to go but up. And then Baker Mayfield's over-under on rushing yards is 9.5. Give me the over on that. Baker over 9.5 rushing yards. I think at some point the vaunted Broncos defense is going to be locking down his receivers, and he's going to have to scramble to make a play on his feet, and he's going to get the job done. Bruce?
Tampa Bay, baby. Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield.
Moving on, we have the Malik Willis revenge game live from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, as the Packers take on the Tennessee Titans. Titans are actually favored by 2.5. Maybe that's an indicator that Jordan Love is not playing. I think he's got a very good chance to play. It sounds like they're trying to get him cleared right now. Maybe they're just higher on the Titans because they need the win more. I would argue this is a prove-it game. The Packers need this game to hold serve, and then the Titans are desperate for a win. Bill Callahan, is it Bill Callahan or Brian Callahan? What's his name? Brian Callahan's desperate for his first win as a head coach. Over under 38.5. I think there's going to be a lot of running of the ball in this game. Uncle Sam, what do you think?
Taking Green Bay and the under. And Jaden Reed, anytime touchdown.
Sam?
I'm going to go Green Bay plus 2.5. I'm going to take the under in this game as well. Give me a Calvin Ridley anytime touchdown. And I had to go elsewhere to find the Josh Jacobs rushing over, but I found 77.5 on places other than FanDuel. So give me the Jacobs over 77.5 yards on the ground. From what I read earlier, it looks like Love will not play again. So it's going to be Malik Willis just pushing the ball through Josh Jacobs. And I think Tennessee doesn't scare me right now. So I'm good with that. Josh Jacobs, big game this week.
Yeah, I don't think that the Titans have the juice to beat this Packers team if the Colts couldn't do it. I know it's a different venue. I know the stakes are different. And I don't think the Packers can run the ball like they did last week and expect to win. That being said, I'm still going to pick the Packers. I like the Packers to win. I like the Packers to cover the 2.5, obviously. I'm going to take the under. I think it's going to be a similar game to last week if Malik Willis starts. My props, there's a prop on Will Levis to throw an interception, yes or no. I'm going with the yes on that one.
Fumble.
Will Levis to throw an interception. I do think that there's going to be a little bit more offensively out of the Titans this week, so give me Tony Pollard anytime. I think that they eventually are able to pound the ball in with Tony Pollard. Packers to win, Packers to cover. I like the under. Bruce, go ahead.
We'll take the Titans and the under. Fucking Packers.
Another non-prove-it game. The Carolina Panthers and the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, are headed to Las Vegas to take on the, can we call them resurgent 2 weeks in? Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 6.5. Sorry, Andy Dalton. The over-under is 39.5. Sam, what are you thinking?
Give me the Panthers to win this game outright. I'm going to take the under. My rushing prop's going to surprise you. It's going to be Alexander Mattison over 24.5 yards. And my anytime touchdown scorer is Adam Thielen. And I think that the Panthers get a very, very slim win here. And Andy Dalton gets absolutely crushed by Max Crosby multiple times. But somehow they pull this one out. The Raiders haven't ran the ball that much. I don't know how sold they are on Zamir White. I think Madison gets his fair share of carries this week and goes over that 25 yards against a weak Panthers D. But I think some reason Carolina has to get an accidental win eventually, and I think it comes this week in Vegas.
I am going to counter you. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I don't think the Panthers have the juice to beat this Raiders team. I like the Raiders with the points, but I do think Andy Dalton ends up looking good in his first, or not his first. He started last year. I think Andy Dalton ends up looking good. I like the under here because these are two somewhat anemic offenses. That being said, like I said, I think it's going to be a good game for Dalton, and Deontay Johnson as the receiver I think is going to reap the most benefits. Give me Deontay Johnson over 49.5 yards. I also like Brock Bowers to go over 4.5 receptions because he gets a lot of targets, and I think he's going to convert them against this defense. Raiders to win, Raiders to cover the 6.5. Uncle Sam?
Taking the Raiders in the over. My Zamir White anytime touchdown is my thing.
Bruce?
The wheels fall off for Carolina for the decision to pull Bryce Young. I'm taking Las Vegas.
Moving on, let's head to Seattle. The 2-0 Seahawks taking on the Miami Dolphins at home. We don't know. Is it Skylar Thompson? Is it going to be Skylar Thompson, right? They have no other option. It's got to be Skylar Thompson. Dolphins starting Skylar Thompson. Seattle, there's some guys questionable. I know Metcalf was on that list. Kenneth Walker, it doesn't seem like he's going to play, so it's another Charbonnet week. Miami, other than Tua, it's a little tricky. All of their guys should be there. Oh, Mostert. No, Raheem Mostert. He's not going to play again this week. Man, reluctantly, I'm going to take the Seahawks because I really don't think they're that good. But it's them at home against a backup quarterback. What's not to like right there? 4 p.m. start. The 4.5 is where it gets interesting. I think Seattle's going to have to put a little juice down to win this one. I think Miami's going to be – they're always prepared. No matter what you think of them, Mike McDaniels always has his offenses prepared. So I think they're going to be prepared for Skylar Thompson, and therefore they're going to put up some points. So give me Miami to cover the 4.5. I still like Seattle to win. I'm going to go over the 42.5 points. I think this could get into the 20s for both teams. For player props, Devon Achane anytime, and give me Jackson Smith and Jigba anytime too. I think he gets on the end zone for this game. Uncle Sam?
I'm going to take Miami in the under. Jalen Waddle anytime touchdown.
That's a good one. He's not going to draw someone normal or bad.
This one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to take Miami money line. I'm going to take the over in this game. Give me Achane over 72.5 rushing yards. This offense is going to have to go through him. But a nutless monkey should be able to get Tyreek Hill the ball in the end zone at least one time. I'm going to take the Tyreek Hill anytime. And I'm going to double down on anytimes in this game. I think DK Metcalf gets one as well. So give me Achane over 72.5, a Tyreek anytime, a DK anytime, and Miami money line in this one.
Bruce?
I'm going to take the Seahawks in the over.
I don't think we're unanimous on any games. Did we go unanimous?
That's just a shitty game.
Right? Do we all pick Tampa, right?
We all picked Tampa. We all picked Cleveland.
Moving on,
That's
a
it.
huge one in Dallas as the flustered Cowboys take on the even more flustered 0-2 Ravens. Let me ask you guys a question before we pick this game. Who needs it more, Baltimore or Dallas?
Baltimore.
Definitely Baltimore.
Sam?
Disagree. I would say Dallas 100% needs this game more. Dallas got embarrassed last week. They got embarrassed bad. At the end of the day, Baltimore's first loss came against Kansas City, which I don't think anybody was like all that surprised by. And they got punched in the mouth last week and lost the game by a field goal. Dallas looked horrible. Baltimore goes 0-3. I don't think it's that big of a deal. They can come out and win 11 in a row, and I don't think anybody would bat an eye at it. Dallas, for some reason, if they lose this game in really bad fashion, you feel a lot worse about Dallas than you do Baltimore.
I definitely feel like Baltimore could survive it more, but I still think they need this game more because you can't start 0-3. You just can't. Especially because they're relatively healthy. Like, I don't think anyone's missing. You're not wrong. I know what you're saying. Why don't you pick the game?
I'm going to take the Cowboys money line. I am going to take the over in this game. I don't think there's going to be much running of the ball happening at all here. I like Dak Prescott over 262.5 yards. And I know this one might surprise you guys. I'm going to go Jalen Tolbert over 29.5. And as far as my anytime goes, I'm going to reluctantly say this, but I'm going to parlay a Derrick Henry, a Lamar Jackson, and an Ezekiel Elliott anytime touchdown together. Those are all on the ground. I think all three of them get paid, and I am doing a anytime touchdown parlay between Henry, Zeke Elliott, and Lamar Jackson.
I am going to take the Cowboys. I do think the Ravens end up starting 0-3, which is wild. But I agree with you to an extent that they can probably survive, but it's tough. It's tough, especially if Pittsburgh wins. But give me the Cowboys at home. I don't think they're going to put together back-to-back losses. Were they at home last week? Did they lose at home to New Orleans? Doesn't matter. Give me the Cowboys to win, which means I'm taking the points. I do like the over. For player props, there's a Lamar Jackson over 53.5 rushing yards. I like that, and I like CD Lamb anytime in this one. Uncle Sam?
Taking the Ravens in the over. Zay Flowers, anytime touchdown.
Oh, Bruce?
Ravens in the over as well.
We're going to head to L.A. The Rams have their home opener hosting the San Francisco 49ers in a game that will not feature Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, possibly George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and who am I missing? I'm missing someone from San Francisco. Deebo Samuel. Not to mention all the other injured pieces that the Rams have offensively and defensively, and I'm sure there's some Niners injuries. Sucks that we're not going to get some star power in this game. The Rams are getting 6.5 points. The over-under is 43.5. Uncle Sam, what do you think?
I'm taking the Rams in the under. Matt Stafford, over 200 yards.
Sam?
I'm going to take San Francisco giving up the 6.5. I'm going to hammer the under in this game. I like Brock Purdy to throw for more than 227 yards, and give me the Brandon Ayuk anytime. He is realistically the only superstar that's going to be on the field. The other one that I love, though, is I think Jordan Mason still gets his. I think he'll end up with a touchdown in this game. I don't think you can go wrong with that until McCaffrey comes back. He is going to keep doing good things. Realistically, for me, you saw the Rams last week. That was a dumpster fire performance, and I just don't think that they mentally and or physically have the juice right now to win football games. So you can't bet with them right now. You can't go with them right now. I just think it's going to be another ugly one for the Rams. And I think Brock Purdy and the 49ers need a bounce-back game, and I think that they have it.
The Brandon Ayuk prop is a lock. I think Brandon Ayuk anytime is a lock. I'm happy you said that. But just to give a counter to that, because it was already said, I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings anytime. Or Juwan Jennings over 3.5 receptions. I like both of those. And I also like Tutu Atwell over... Oh, it's not on here. If you can get it, I like Tutu Atwell over 4.5 receptions. I think Stafford's go-to is going to be Tutu Atwell. A lot of people, by the way, are high on Jordan Whittington for the Rams. People think that he's going to have a breakout game in the Cooper Kupp role, so keep an eye on that. As for the game itself, I am going to pick the 49ers. I don't think they lose back-to-back weeks. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to hold pace. or hold serve, I should say. I think the Rams cover the 6.5. I also like the under in this one. Bruce?
I'm going to go with San Francisco and the under.
The night game, it's a doozy. I think this game's really cool on paper because I don't think the Chiefs have looked that good through 2 weeks. They look like last year. Remember last year they just started, like they looked off, and then they came back and somehow won a Super Bowl. I think that's where they're at right now. They're going to take on the Atlanta Falcons, and Arthur Blank is giving out free hot dogs and soda for the people of Atlanta before the game, which I love, to get them in the building beforehand. I think that building is going to be fired the fuck up. Atlanta is getting 3 points. The over-under is 46.5. Uncle Sam, what are you thinking here?
Taking Kansas City in the over.
Any player props you can add on?
Yeah, I got one player prop.
Let's hear it.
Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown.
He's not
He's
playing.
not playing.
Oh, I thought he was playing.
No,
They,
he's
they
not
couldn't
gonna-
elevate him from the.
He's not elevated.
Yeah.
I thought they elevated him already.
They're not going to elevate him.
Interesting. Well, all right. Xavier Worthy, anytime touchdown.
Love it. I am going to pick the Chiefs reluctantly as well. I'm hoping for the best from the Falcons. I don't think they're capable, though. I think Bijan's due to get in the end zone, so give me Bijan anytime. And give me Mahomes over... Oh, what's it at? 267.5. I think Mahomes goes over that. I think he does a lot of shredding of this defense because they're due for a good passing game. Yeah, give me the Chiefs to win. I think the Chiefs cover the 3 points. And I like the over. I'm hoping for a shootout. This is a fun game on paper. Give me the over.
All right, first and foremost, I'm going to piggyback off of one of Zolo's picks from last week that hit. I'm taking the Ray McLeod over 29.5 yards. Without question, I think I think that they're going to utilize every receiver on this Falcons offense. We saw Mooney get his targets, obviously London and Ray. I'm good with him right now. I think he hits that 30-yard mark for sure. My anytime touchdown this week is going to be Travis Kelce. And he had a very slow start to the year thus far. I think he picks it up. I think he gets a touchdown this week. I'm going Kansas City all the way in this one. I'm going to take the under, though. I'm going to take the under. I just don't know how well Atlanta can hold up with Kansas City yet. So I'm hesitant to take a ton of points in this game. But I think that Travis Kelce comes into his own a little bit against this Falcons defense.
Bruce, got anything to add?
I'm going to take Atlanta in the under.
Good luck to Atlanta. I hope they pull something out there because I can't stand the Chiefs. But
Never doubt Kirk Cousins.
the Monday night part 1 is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars at Buffalo to take on the 2-0 Bills. The Jaguars obviously 0-2. As Trevor Lawrence said, we just stink right now. Is that what he said? Was that the quote? Bills are giving up 4.5. The over-under is 45.5. Uncle Sam, what are you thinking?
I'm going to take the Bills in the under. And James Cook, anytime touchdown.
Sam?
I'm going to take the Bills, and I'm going to take the over in this game. I don't think it's going to be a close game, but I think that the Bills right now are feeling hot. I think they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think everybody thought this was going to be a down year for them, and right now it doesn't look all that down. I like Khalil Shakir to go over 45.5 yards. I like Brian Thomas to also go over 45.5 yards in this game. I love the James Cook anytime. But I think that none other than rookie Keon Coleman finds the end zone this week. And I'm going to take him as my anytime touchdown scorer. I'd probably hit Cook too. But I think that the Bills have a fun game here and just kind of run roughshod on a really subpar, wonder-bred Jacksonville Jaguars team.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. I think the Bills cover the 4.5. And that doesn't mean I'm investing heavily in the Bills. I just think that Jacksonville's a good recipe to keep the 2-0 going. Really a tough time to take on the Bills if you're the Jaguars. Give me the Bills to cover the 4.5. I like the over. I think that the Jags offense gets a little bit back on track, and for that reason, give me Travis Etienne anytime. And last but not least, I'm going to go with Josh Allen over 31.5 rushing yards in this one. I think he does some damage to the Jacksonville defense. Bruce?
Buffalo in the over as well.
The second Monday night game is going to be the Commanders heading on to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. I think I just repeated myself. I don't know. Dyslexia. I don't know what I just said. But Commanders are heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are getting 7.5 points. Got to go into the jungle at nighttime at 8:15 p.m. It's probably tough for Jaden Daniels. 2 LSU quarterbacks, 2 Heisman winners. I think that there's a little too much credence given to the Bengals here. Maybe it's because T. Higgins is coming back. That question I asked earlier about who needs it more in Ravens-Cowboys, who needs this game more out of the 2-0-2 teams? Who needs this game a little bit more?
Obviously,
Cincinnati needs this game bad. Cincinnati desperately needs this game, I think. And for me personally, I think they get it. I'm good with Cincinnati giving up the 7.5 points. I'm taking the over in this game. I think this is going to be one of those games that's pretty much done at halftime. I'm taking Burrow over 261. I'm taking Jamar Chase to score a touchdown. T. Higgins' first game back, I think he starts a little bit slow. They don't have a receiving yards line out for him yet, but I'm not huge on him this week. But I think Jamar Chase goes over the 80.5 as well. He needs to have a big game. He has not had a monster game yet this year. He's got to do it. Burrow has to do it. They need to get this thing put together, and I believe they do. For me, Washington's defense is not going to be able to hold up against this Bengals offense, and I think they're going to run roughshod. I do have one Washington prop, and I think Jaden Daniels will find the end zone on the ground. But give me the Bengals all the way in this game. I think they can hit the over on their own.
I like the Bengals as well. I don't know. T. Higgins coming back does make a difference. I think that 7.5 is a lot of points, even for the Bengals. I don't think it's going to be like last night. I think that's what you're alluding to, that they're going to run them off the field. Just because the Commanders really need they need to get going. They need to get the ball rolling. And I do like Joe Burrow in this game. I think Joe Burrow will look a lot better with T. Higgins. It's basically having the wind at his back. So give me Burrow over 261.5. I think he comes close to 300 in this one. And I like T. Higgins anytime. I think he's going to find T. Higgins in the back of the end zone at least once in the goal line situation. I also like this one, Zach Ertz over 25.5. Uncle Sam, by the way, I think that the Bengals are going to cover the 7.5, even though it's a lot of points. And then the over/under, I'm going to take the over as well. Uncle Sam, when I asked the question on the Commanders or the Bengals needing it more, you said the Commanders. We didn't hear you. Tell us why you think the Commanders need this game more.
I just think they need the momentum. They need the momentum. They got to really turn up the heat because everybody in their division is kind of just lingering there. And I think it's
but they're dog
anybody's
shit with
decision.
no expectation. They don't need a win because they're dog shit and have no expectation. So it doesn't really matter. They lose, they just go off into the dust like we all thought they would.
Says the guy who took Carolina.
Anyways, I'm taking the Bengals. I'm taking the over. And my prop is a Trenton Irwin anytime touchdown.
Well. It worked last time. I think it could work again. Bruce, what do you think?
Again.
Yeah, Cincy and the over.
That's an interesting Monday night slate. I'm definitely intrigued by Bills Jags. I just don't. I see 2 locks in these games. I see 2 sure things. So, especially the Bills coming off of 4 days rest, or excuse me, an extra 4 days rest, 3 days rest, whatever it is. Should be interesting. We have one last game to pick. The Lions, our Detroit Lions, at 1-1, head to Glendale, Arizona, to take on the resurgent Cardinals. Red hot Kyler Murray. This is odd to me, but the Cardinals are getting 3 points at home. Maybe people are still high on the Lions. The over-under is one of the biggest of the week at 51.5. Is there anything bigger than that?
Don't think so. I think they are the biggest one of the week.
Yeah, that's the only one in the 5. So everyone thinks this is going to be a shootout. I agree. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this game is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to learn a lot about both of these teams. Uncle Sam, do you have any tips for the Lions? What's the game plan? What do they have to do to win this one? What do they have to do to slow down Kyler Murray? What are you thinking?
Run the football. Run the football.
What about defensively?
Real simple. You keep them off the field.
Keep Kyler Murray off the field.
That's how you beat them. You run the football.
Sam, what do you think? How do the Lions not turn this into what happened last week against Baker Mayfield?
Well, I think if they use some parts of last week's game going into this defensively, they'll probably be okay. They did a good job of keeping a lid on Mike Evans last week. I think they need to play Marvin Harrison very similarly. The other thing is they need to get pressure on Kyler Murray. If they can get just as much, if not more, pressure on Kyler than they did on Baker last week, they will win this game. I kind of expect them to. I think that Hutchinson has another big game. I do agree with Uncle Sam. They need to run the football more, and they need to try and keep this Cardinals offense off the field. But I really don't see – the more I thought about this, because I was skeptical earlier in the week, the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking about this game. As long as their offense isn't impotent, and I don't think it will be because I think Tampa's defense is better than Arizona's, they should be able to win this game, and I think that they do. I'm going to take the Lions giving up the 3. I'm going to take the over of 51.5. Even if they keep a lid on Marvin Harrison, he's still going to get his in this game. You just don't want him to do what he did to the Rams 5 minutes into the game last week. I think you're going to have a lot of points. I think this will be the shootout, and I think that the Lions will be able to edge this one out late. I love a David Montgomery anytime. Give me every ounce of that. And there was a lot of shit talked about Jared Goff these last 7 days in Detroit. His line right now is at 266.5 yards. I think he eclipses that. I think everybody on that Lions offense gets involved, and I think the Lions get a very, very necessary and nice win against Atlanta and shut up all the doubters.
You said Atlanta.
He means
Arizona. They're both A's.
Why don't you go next? Why don't you?
They're both A's.
Go ahead, Uncle Sam.
I'm taking the Cardinals and the over.
You know what, dude? Just go.
Cardinals and the over, bud.
He told me that earlier at work.
Dog shit.
Can I tell you something?
I'm gonna take the Cardinals and the over, and my prop is Kyler Murray rushing touchdown.
Whatever.
If this game wasn't after a loss, if this game wasn't following a Lions loss, I would probably pick the Cardinals as well. Just because I'm that high on the Cardinals, I've always hated the Lions when they go out west. It's always a struggle, and I haven't seen enough out of the Lions this year to get it going to believe that they can go in and crush in this game. But here's the deal: since the middle of 2022, following a loss, the Lions are 7-0. In 6 of those 7 games, they've won by double digits. I think that all of the problems, like I've said before, are diagnosable. I think they're going to get diagnosed. So this game is going to come down to how much the defense gets bashed by Kyler Murray. I think that the defensive game plan is we're not going to let Kyler Murray beat us with his arm downfield. We're going to let him beat us with his legs, and we're going to live with it if he scrambles on a 3rd down and gets it, because he was beating the Rams downfield with his arm. He was scrambling back and forth and making plays with his arm, and I don't think Aaron Glenn is going to accept that. It's going to be a lot of bend but don't break and keep them out of the end zone. I feel very comfortable with what was once a long injury report. St. Brown's no longer on it, full practice all the way through. Kirby Joseph, full practice all the way through. Marcus Davenport should return. Isaiah Williams, if you take stock in that, might be limited. Glasgow was limited today. There's a theory that he'll play. Terrion Arnold had the flu. He was limited today. He's fought off the flu. They don't know if Anzalone will get cleared in time, but he has practiced the last 2 weeks, so I think they're ready. It's just Rakestraw and Melifonwu. So I love their injury report. Meanwhile, piggybacking off of what you said about Aiden Hutchinson, Jonah Williams, the starting right tackle, is injured for the Cardinals. It's Kelvin Beachum, who Aiden Hutchinson has shredded in the past already. I do like Aiden Hutchinson to eat again this game. I think he's on a fucking mission right now. Over. My prop is going to be Sam Laporta anytime. I think that was the talk of the week. I think that they utilize him in the red zone. I also like Greg Dortch anytime because Greg Dortch in triple package situations is going to feast. And I like Jared Goff as well to go over the 266 yards because he did 266.5 because he did it last week and he's going up against a worse secondary this week. I think Jared Goff rights the ship. And I'm going with the Lions. Reluctantly, I would not be shocked if they, just like last week, I wouldn't have been shocked if they lost to Tampa, and they did. I would not be shocked if the Lions lose this game. I'm just going on the side of history, and that side of history says that the Lions are good after losses, so they should be good in this one. You're not crazy for picking the Cardinals, Uncle Sam.
Yeah, it's just my opinion.
It's a good opinion.
Crazy.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Some are bigger than others.
Real quick before we go, can we talk about the Tigers?
I think we have to. I think we're doing a disservice to Detroit sports if we do not talk about the Tigers.
So something that I didn't realize, which a stat that came up last week, they were, I think, 8.5 or 9 or 9.5. I don't know the exact number. Out on August 22nd after they lost to the Cubs. They had a bad loss to the Cubs, and it kind of threw everything in disarray. That's when the flame went out and people kind of gave up. That was also when Javi Baez was benched or put on the DL, whatever. That's when they moved on from Javi Baez. If they get in, they will be the first team since the 1973 Mets to be 8.5 or more out on August 22nd to get into the playoffs. That's what they're trying to do right now. That's what's insane about all of this. Their schedule, it kind of cooperates. They have I think they're the Rays this weekend. I think they're playing the Rays. Or no, they're in Baltimore. And then next week they come home for a series against the Rays and then the historically bad Chicago White Sox. They're technically tied right now, and then I think they're one game back of the Royals. The Royals and the Twins have the tiebreaker over the Tigers. The theory is the Twins are playing so bad. I think they've lost 20 of 30 or something like that, something really crazy. The Twins are playing so bad that the theory is if you go 500, so if you win 5 of the 4 that you get in, you probably end up getting in. I think they need to win all 3 series. I think they need to go at least 6 wins. But if you finish one game better than the Minnesota Twins, if you finish with one more win than the Minnesota Twins, then the Tigers get into the playoffs for the first time in 10 years with one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. I think they're $30 million below the league average, and it's all young guys. It's all really young guys. My first question to you guys is, do you think the Tigers get in? Do you think this actually happens? Sam, you seem a little enthusiastic. Do you think he gets in? They get in?
I think they do. They're playing you got to play the hot hand with them right now. They're hot. They're playing 1 average and 2 pretty shitty teams to finish out the year. Minnesota's slumping right now. Up here, thank God we don't have Bally Sports. We can actually watch Tigers baseball because Bally Sports is doing a disservice to the entire city of Detroit. The only excitement we've had baseball-wise in the last decade, and we don't even get to watch it, which is complete and utter bullshit. Aside from that, I do think they get in. It seems like they're a team of destiny right now, and they're hot and they're motivated. I don't expect them to go very deep into the playoffs because, like you said, it's a young team. They need a little bit more experience, and I don't know how talented they really are. But talk about how much fun it would be to actually have some meaningful baseball in September in Detroit, because I don't remember the last time we had that. I'm really hopeful right now. Really hopeful. Get a little bit of life back into Comerica Park, for sure.
Uncle Sam, have you been watching any of this? I know you've been.
I listened to the games on my way home from here. I think any team that gets hot, they could do a lot of damage, and that's what they've been doing. You know, and they've been getting a little lucky too. They've been getting real lucky. I don't know if you guys have followed any of the games or not, but
Absurdly timely hitting. Yeah, they have been, for sure.
I mean, they've gotten real lucky. And now I'll tell you what, they're playing their asses off, and they're too young to fucking know any different. Sometimes that's a good recipe.
Piggybacking off what you said real quick, the recipe to dominate in the postseason is really good starting pitching. They
have that. They have
the most part.
They have the best bullpen and the best pitching right now.
Yeah, I mean they and I want to give a lot of credit to AJ Hinch because he made the decision to, hey, let's call up some of these rookie arms, throw them in the bullpen. We have nothing to lose. Like it's go big or go home. And it's worked out. It's worked out a lot. And they're really lucky to have AJ Hinch because this is happening at the moment with not a lot of talent.
I can remember by August, everybody wanted him out.
Yeah,
they wanted him
before
gone.
Before that.
They wanted him gone.
I think end of May, I heard a lot of like, why is AJ Hinch still here? He's disgusting. I think end of May was the first time
people
I
are
heard
just pissed off about his prior job still.
Maybe.
They can't get over that.
Maybe, but this has been... I mean, and what's crazy is I feel like I'm living in the 80s because I have to listen to the games on the radio. Bruce recommends Streamies to anybody that's looking to watch the Tigers. It's to the point where, like, should I invest in Bally Sports for this next week? It's nice about postseason baseballs. It's all on nationally televised channels.
I actually like listening to it on the radio.
Dan Dickerson's great, but I love,
I don't mind it
at the beginning of the year, I was so excited to hear Jason Benetti. Like, we have a really good guy calling the games, like to the point where he's a Fox National guy doing college football and stuff like that at this point. But I think what we're seeing is the start of something really insane. And if Chris Ilitch could just get his head out of his ass, and we're not asking him to spend like his father. We're not asking for that, but we're asking for him to spend. And if he can close the gap and bring the payroll up to $100 million, and if they have a big offseason, you bring in one, maybe two bats, you bring in a starting pitcher to comp for Kenta Maeda and how bad he is, maybe a bullpen arm here or two.
But he's actually been pretty good too.
Since they moved him, he's been good.
Yeah.
I think there's a really good shot that not only could they build off of this momentum, but a lot of these young guys like Jackson Jobe we're going to see eventually. We're going to see Max Clark eventually.
Lit up.
His AAA start, right?
Yeah,
in his AAA start. I think we're going to see these guys at some point in the middle of the year next year.
Yeah.
And
he's making his last start, I think this week.
And he's in Toledo, right? He's in AAA. I think they're close. Even if they don't get in, because this reeks like they don't have the tiebreaker, similar to how the Wings didn't have the tiebreaker against the Capitals. What can separate the Tigers going into next year and the Wings going into this year is they can spend the money to bridge the gap, and they can get into the playoffs next year and be really pesky because their staff is what's good. Their pitching staff is what's good. And there's just a lot of potential to what's going on. And the town's rejuvenated. Like it's to the point where it's got.
They have a game plan, and they've stuck to this game plan, no matter how bad they were getting bashed. Him and the GM were both getting absolutely ass hammered all year about not picking up another bat, not giving this. But they got these young guys. They did the right thing. Actually, you can criticize them all you want for the way they're doing it, and I understand there was a faster way to fix it. But these guys have got their at-bats, and they're learning from it. And you know what? As long as they can continue to take this momentum into next year, you don't really need as much as you think you do. They just need to continue to grow.
I think that's a big thing.
And that's huge.
I think you hit the nail on the head because they did start fast this year, and then all of a sudden, Torkelson was really bad. Colt Keith was really bad. Parker Meadows was struggling at one point. And
they came back, and he's probably the MVP of the team.
They parlayed it into an end of April and May where it ended with Torkelson getting sent down. So what you just said, you hit the nail on the head. If you can, even if they don't get into the playoffs, if they can parlay this into a little bit faster of a start next year, like I think that's the difference between them winning the division or not. Is what they did in April, end of April, May, June, where things just dropped off. That's the difference right now. You're probably looking at taking the division from Cleveland if that's the case right now. I'm with you. I think that there's a lot to like. I'm not going to be disappointed if they don't get in because this team's really young.
Right. They played. Listen, the last 30 games they've been outstanding. They've been outstanding.
They've been the best team in baseball since the end of July. They've been the best team in baseball. The record, everything, the hitting, the pitching. It's been right there. Sam, have you been watching it all?
Hello?
You sit
Hello?
back in the
Sorry.
chair, nice and comfortable, muted,
Came out of nowhere there.
sitting on his dad's
yes, I have.
phone.
Whenever the game's on up here, I'm tuning in. So I'd love to go to Comerica Park and actually see meaningful baseball because as a Detroit sports fan, some of your best memories came from those Tigers playoff games at Comerica Park.
The
So
Dodgers game.
I'm here for it. I'm behind them. I hope they can manage their way in because it would be a lot of fun. Hopefully they draw a playoff game on the same day as a Lions home game. That would be nice too.
I looked at the schedule and it wouldn't work that way.
No.
They would be October 3rd if it played out. That would be their first game. So it would be right after Monday Night Football the same week, and then the Lions would go on the bye. So it wouldn't be until later in October. But tonight you have Tyler Holton going against Corbin Burns, one of the aces for the Orioles. It's in Baltimore. Did they sweep the Orioles 2 weeks ago at home, or did they just win 2 out of 3?
I thought they won 2 out of 3.
Parker Meadows, who was injured, is back. And
they won 2 out of 3 against Baltimore.
2 out of 3 against Baltimore. Parker Meadows is back. He's playing center field. He's not DHing. Yeah, I mean, this lineup is so fun. Trey Sweeney, who they got. Is Trey Sweeney who they got for Jack Flaherty from the Dodgers?
I believe so.
Trey Sweeney has
Riley
been as
Green.
advertised. Riley Green's been the best. Well, I shouldn't say the best. He's been the second best player in baseball because Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player of all time, putting together one of the best baseball seasons of all time and had the all-around best single game in baseball history.
And guess who
last
beat
night.
them twice?
50-50, baby.
Guess who beat them twice?
The Tigers.
The Tigers.
Beat the Dodgers twice.
Sick game.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for what Ohtani's been doing, I'm sure Riley Green would be in the MVP conversation easily at this point. But lineup's ready to go. It's McKinstry at second, Kerry Carpenter's back and right, Parker Meadows is playing again. This could be a thing, and I'm excited to watch. Well, I'm not going to be watching. I'm going to be listening, but I'm excited to hear Dan Dickerson in T-minus 40 minutes because, hey, we get stretch run baseball in September. We're getting meaningful baseball in September, and there was a point 2 years ago where all we were asking for was meaningful Lions games in November and December, and we're getting meaningful Tiger games in September, and I don't think you could beat that right now. That's exciting.
Give me the Tigers plus 1.5 tonight too, by the way.
Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful. Anything to add, Uncle Sam?
I don't know if you've seen it last night on that little thing with your buddy Mahmoud Bob got fucking pushed away by Aaron Rodgers because he said he's not a hugger. He's not a hugger. I get it, Aaron. I get that. You don't like people touching you. I get it.
No. Amu Bob isn't the hugger, and Aaron is the hugger. So when Amu Bob...
Oh, he tried to hug Aaron. And Aaron
yeah, exactly. When Amu Bob went in for the hug, it caught Aaron Rodgers completely off guard.
It didn't catch him. You've seen the look on his face.
Don't fucking
That didn't
touch
catch
me.
him off guard. He didn't want him fucking touching him.
Shout out to Lions fans for fucking up Dan Campbell's house, huh?
Yeah, it's disgusting. Die for
Supposedly
doing that.
the Amu Bob Rogers interaction was, I guess Bob Saleh has a big thing about being up by 2 scores in a game.
2-score leads.
Yeah, 2-score lead. When you get a 2-score lead, you're doing stuff right. And I guess Aaron Rodgers, that's what he was letting him know, that they got that 2-score lead right there. And he was right. They finished off the game perfect, pretty much.
Well,
God bless Dan Campbell in his new home.
wherever it is.
Well, yeah, wherever it is.
Wherever
It's not
it
in Gross
is.
Point anymore.
I had the address of the one that sold. They sold it in a day. It was like $5,500, or excuse me, 5500 Quarton. It was off of Quarton, and it was accessible, no gate, so
Love
it
how
made sense.
They made it a big deal. Like the fans found his house. Like everyone knew where the house was.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
in this area, at
going
least.
there after losses, and then obviously we remember after the Dallas game, he woke up in the middle of the night one night to contractors pounding on his door. That's disgusting shit, and that's not really what this town's known for. We're known for, unless it was Steve Yzerman, we're known for not bothering people. So it's really disappointing,
I
but
choose a bunch of high school kids.
probably.
I don't even. Do we even know what they did, or I know the police were involved.
It doesn't matter. They were showing up there. It's not a good look. Not a good look. But
Dark Lumen wants to know what you did with Debo Samuel.
we didn't touch Debo. We're Debo proponents here. I think you have bigger
And
fish to fry, Dark Lumen, because we haven't lost to the Vikings in 3 years.
Yeah, you got your ass raped by the Vikings there, bud.
Also, where have you been?
Yeah,
The
where you
Niners,
been? I
the
haven't
Niners
seen
lose
you.
and get all injured, and you stop
Yeah.
showing up.
Niners lose and you don't fucking show up.
They lose to Sam Darnold.
You lost to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold gave him a nice shellacking,
Anyone have anything to add?
swinging,
This is a huge Detroit. This is as good as of a Detroit sports
swinging.
weekend as we can
Sam
get.
Darnold gave it to you guys.
This is as good of a Detroit sports weekend I think that we've had in a long time. Maybe, well, no, we had some good weekends in April with Wings playoff push, Tiger baseball, and the draft here. But I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited to sit back and watch everything unfold.
Wow.
And yeah, let's get the job done, Tigers, and let's certainly get the job done, Lions, because that train never stopped, and we're ready for it. Got any plans this weekend, Uncle Sam?
No.
Sam, you got any plans while you're up there? Anything you got on the docket?
Just fun.
Eating fudge, cooking meat, watching
You are
football.
fudge.
That's
Dude,
about
can you
it.
bring me back some fudge?
No, fuck you, Bruce.
Oh,
Go
come on.
Pistons. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Great weekend. One of the last warm weekends we'll probably get. Summer is in September. This is it. You're going to have to hunker down after this. Enjoy the weekend. Get outside. Watch some football on Sunday.
Why don't you take us home?
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. If you are listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure to check us out on YouTube and remember to subscribe so you get notified when we go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays sometime around 5. If you haven't yet, follow us on our social media, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to join us Monday so you can see just how wrong we were with all of our picks. Until then, enjoy the weekend, get outside, watch some football, go Tigers. Have a great weekend.